This is Unearthed, an immersive documentary uncovering the crafts that built the modern world. Seed by seed, hand by hand. This was bäuerliche Flaxkultur, peasant flax cultivation. A system rooted in seasonal knowledge, communal work, and tools passed down rather than replaced. From careful soil preparation to dense sowing, from weeding on hands and knees to pulling the plant's root and all, every step mattered. This breaking pit was built in the early 1930s, solid, serious, meant to last. But from 1939 onward, the harvest got shipped to a commercial roasting operation. Bigger, faster, industrial. Still, here, the men are fed flax in measured handfuls, called a haffel, the amount you can grip between thumb and forefinger. That tiny measurement decides everything, because it sets the thickness of the fiber strand for every step after this. And when they break the stalks, crush and splinter them, the ground starts to fill with sharp, woody waste called granin. In the factories, machines replace these wooden benches with grooved iron rollers. But listen, machines don't joke. Machines don't sing. Machines don't keep the winter alive. The younger men work the snapping rhythm, while the older ones handle the fibers like something fragile. A bundle goes crosswise over the sharp slats. The lid comes down. The fibers stay. Whatever's still tangled gets shaken out. Because the goal is simple and unbelievably hard. Free the bast fibers in one long, unbroken length. 4 slats below, 3 ribs above. When the lid drops, the ribs sink into the gaps and kink the stalks again and again, sharply. A crescent-shaped block on the handle amplifies the blow, so the bast fibers get stretched, tugged, torn loose. The men can barely keep up with the flow coming off the grate, and what they pass along now is broken Schleiss flax, still rough, still messy, but officially on the path to yarn. One simple hinge makes the lid open and shut. Primitive engineering perfected. It's still bast-like, gritty, full of splinters. And the fibers are tangled, mixed lengths, chaotic. So they braid them into zupfe, or hanks, to keep the strands together for the next work, done at home. They knot the thin ends, so nothing unravels. And then the twist. They twist from the middle into 2 strong skeins. And here's the human element. This system is built on fairness. Work is divided so nobody gets stuck with only the worst parts. Even the waste, flax straw, gets collected and carried back to feed the fire again. Nothing is wasted, not time, not heat, not effort. Hasselbach had 7 of these pits, they say. 7 little engines of winter industry. Most were along the road to Bell, near the mill pond. To stretch those linen tarps, 6 meters long, 3 wide, they set poles on the weather side. They keep water ready near the drying pit just in case. If the stalks ignite, you don't debate, you move fast. And when the fire is put out successfully, it's a weird little gift, an excuse to pause, breathe, laugh, reset. And yes, schnapps to warm up between rounds.
Manchmal hat kalte Finger.
And now the story shifts indoors. After breaking, the fibers get braided and carried home. Then the same families meet again, this time for swingling, the next refinement step. A farmer walks in with fodder beets through the back entrance, life continuing around the work. Men do the lifting and handing off. Women do the precision cleaning. Women receive the shaken-out slice flax. The waste that falls away is called hodgen. What remains becomes swingled flax, twisted again into braids. To keep warm, they block the barn door with straw bales and hang a wagon tarp to shrink the space, like insulating a human-sized workshop. Swingling means striking the flax with a thin, sharp-edged board. When the braids are untwisted, the fibers hang down in curls. They're pulled apart, shaken out, made manageable. To knock out the remaining splinters, the fiber strand is laid over the swingling block, often carved, decorated, personal. It's anchored into a floor beam, so it won't move. Piece by piece, the bundle gets pulled over the block, and the striking board reaches every section. The hodgen on the floor are the tangled fibers that get beaten out or plucked by hand. And the swingled flax passed along now, clean, nearly aligned. Finished swingled flax looks different, lighter, silkier, almost alive. This block has a broken curved projection, once used to pin the strand so it wouldn't slip under the blows. The swingling blade, also called a swingling knife, has the owner's name carved on it. And notice something, there's less talking now than earlier, probably because the dust makes everything annoying. Swingling was the most disliked step, so when machines showed up after 1900, some families bought them. Even their third swingling block here has a deep notch to hold the fiber better. Small innovation, huge comfort. Before they hand the flax off, they pull away loose fibers, waste. They shake out the final bits of stalk. Strand by strand, the stockpile gets cleaned. But swingled flax still wasn't ready for fine spinning or weaving. For that, it needed the final refinement. Hackling. Combing through iron teeth until only the best, longest fibers remain. And this part, it becomes social again. Four families set up hackling benches in a square in the middle of the threshing floor. And here's the hook. This is where quality is decided. This is where linen becomes ordinary, or prized. On the Hunsrück, hackling is men's work, and women feed them loosened braids, untwisted, fluffed, ready. The hackled flax, tightened again into bundles, is called karen. This core flax becomes the starting point for the finest linen. And since the work isn't as punishing, conversation returns about the St. Nicholas market, about Christmas coming. Then the best hackled flax goes to a finer toothed board. This is how you get a smooth, even thread, thin, strong, consistent. At this final step, everyone focused on minimizing tangled waste. Because only the smooth, thinned, long flax, valuable even as trade, made the entire effort worth it. Women preparing the flax make the difference here. They pluck out tangles, shake the strands loose so they pass with less resistance, meaning the teeth strip away less fiber. By the old measuring method, women could estimate by feel when grasping the bundle. Those tight braids weighed about 110 to 130 grams. 24 of them made a stone, a trading unit of 5 pounds. Your skill at the hackle controlled not only quantity, but quality. And even though flax cultivation ended here after 1945, the knowledge didn't vanish. It stayed in hands, in habits, in stories. And once the core flax was sorted, it was stored in freshly washed linen sacks, along with the tow. And if you want to see a feat of craftsmanship even more amazing, be sure to click on this next video, right here.